A major retailer is filing for bankruptcy.
And NATO holds its Parade of Nations.
And today we'll be seeing gloomy conditions persisting.
We have that and more on this edition of 15 News at Noon. It starts right now. Thank you for joining us on 15 News at Noon. I'm Carly Bodinus.
And I'm Mason Gleva.
That 20% off Bed Bath & Beyond coupon in your drawer is only good for a few more days. Bed Bath & Beyond filed for bankruptcy Sunday, and the company says it will stop accepting coupons on Wednesday. Instead, Bed Bath & Beyond expects to offer deep discounts on its products as part of its going out of business sales. Profits for Bed Bath & Beyond took a hit after stores closed for months because of the pandemic. The company has been trying to cut costs by closing more than half of its stores since last year.
It's a tradition decades strong in the city of Norfolk, Virginia, hosting the NATO Parade of Nations. But this year's edition was a bit more special with a new member a part of the celebration. Anthony Sabella was there on Saturday.
It doesn't get any closer than this here at the NATO Parade of Nations. The organizers of the parade allowed me to get on float number 1. We're riding through downtown Norfolk here. Behind us, all of the member nations of the alliance, including the newest member just confirmed earlier this month. Applause for a 74-year-old alliance between 31 countries in Europe and North America. For 70 of those years, Norfolk, NATO's HQ on this side of the Atlantic, has led the celebration here. The Parade of Nations once again made its way down Waterside Drive and Granby Street Saturday morning, marked by flags, marching bands, and flashy floats.
We get all these different countries coming to Norfolk, Virginia, of all places, you know, and they're sharing with us their music, their talent.
But it was this unassuming convertible with one person sitting up top that got a lot of attention. Finland joined NATO only April 4th, just over a year after its neighbor Russia invaded Ukraine. The alliance adding an extra line of defense.
NATO will give us secure guarantees.
Captain Veli-Petteri Volkamo is with the Finnish Navy. He says he's lived here more than 2 years now, but more of his countrymen should be joining him in the coming months. And this time next year, he expects to have a big float like the other countries. For now, being here finally as an official NATO member is sweet enough.
Really emotional, to be honest, seeing our flag flying with the other flags. So of course it felt really deep in my heart.
A feeling returned by the thousands who lined the streets in support of an alliance that's brought so many cultures here to Norfolk.
Get ready for some cuteness. A Springboro, Ohio elementary school had special visitors take a tour of the building this week. A family of ducks. The mother duck is no stranger to the school. For the past 5 years, she has made Clear Creek Elementary School's sensory garden home. She uses the outdoor garden space to build nests and lay her eggs. The school's occupational therapist says the sensory garden is free of predators, and she believes the soothing sound of the wind chimes keeps their babies calm at night. This year, the school relocated the mother duck and her 12 ducklings to a wooded space beyond the school to give them a less confined space.
We have VUTV Weather's Evan Gustafson in the studio. So, Evan, what's happening with the weather right now? It was kind of brutal yesterday with the snow.
Yeah, Mason, and unfortunately, that brutal weather is going to continue throughout the day today. As you look over the region, we have gloomy skies and even some showers developing. Temperatures at the moment, though, we're sitting at a chilly 40 degrees with calm winds and overcast skies. As we look at our radar, though, pretty dry across the region. However, there is a couple systems in the New England area and down south in Texas and Louisiana. This shouldn't be too much of a factor, but as we look in Minnesota and the Dakotas, this will be our next weather maker for the beginning of this week. Looking a little bit closer to locally, though, we'll see those showers really starting to develop around Valparaiso and even some snow starting to mix in around Lake Michigan. This is because of those freezing temperatures that will be moving into the area. And because of those freezing temperatures, we have those winter weather alerts in effect for us all the way from Nebraska to western counties of Ohio. These colors are actually freeze warnings, giving us the possibility of seeing some very cold and chilly temperatures. As we look down south, we'll see those cold temperatures continue to persist, and back to you guys.
Thanks, Evan. Coming up, a town in Missouri celebrates an out-of-this-world anniversary.
And a bear gets into trouble with some soda. Stick with us. It's been 50 years since all of the excitement in Piedmont, Missouri. Now it's time to mark this special anniversary. Close Encounters of the Piedmont Kind celebrates multiple sightings of UFOs by people in that small town in 1973. Nikki Clark spoke with some residents who remember that year well.
In the small town of Piedmont, nothing will ever compare to the thrill 50 years ago.
You can imagine a group of basketball boys coming back from a ball game and seeing this. I mean, just as soon as they got to school, it was all over school.
Gene Coleman says it came up in almost any conversation you had.
Even the government was down here, asking questions as to what, was taking place.
Coleman didn't just hear about it. She tells me she saw a UFO while out on a drive with her friend.
And just looking up at the sky and everything. And then all of a sudden, I saw down toward the water a red light flash. Then when it got up so high, all of the lights came on and all of them remained on. And then it went over the hill.
Joe King also remembers the lights.
I never knew what they were, and I never said what they were. I just described what I saw.
And now, half a century later,
our whole town's covered in UFOs right now.
Chamber of Commerce Director Sarah Phillips says the town is celebrating their history with UFO Fest.
And expert speakers, so they will be here all day tomorrow speaking. And then we have over 50 craft vendors that are coming in, food trucks, we have some historic memorabilia, old newspaper articles, pictures, things like that from back in '73.
King and Coleman tell me they're happy the community is embracing it now, because back in 1973,
I have two different ideas about people that talk about UFOs and sees UFOs. You're either a kook or you're not.
I have always regretted saying anything about it.
And I wish I had have talked more about it back then.
And now, in 2023,
this is Piedmont. This happened in Piedmont, and we are witnesses of it. And I think, it's something that we all can share.
And it's exciting to see the people in town, a lot of younger people kind of getting caught up in it.
A black bear in search of a midnight snack uncovers a treasure trove of tasty beverages. Patrick Cornell has today's look at all of this.
Cocaine Bear may be stealing the spotlight on the silver screen, but don't sleep on this highly caffeinated Canadian crook. Sharon spotted the black bear breaking into her Jeep in search of some sugary soda.
You could hear him slurping it the whole time.
Sharon purchased 72 cans for work. Well, the thirsty thief crushed its way through 69 of them before hitting its limit.
He started with the Orange Crush, and eventually the last thing he got was the Diet Pop.
And maybe all that sweet stuff gave it a tummy ache because the bear was in no mood for reasoning.
I explained to him how important the car was and that I had to go to work the next morning. That didn't seem to affect him whatsoever.
Here's another animal that could use a chill pill. In Wisconsin, this bobcat somehow clawed its way up under a car and got stuck. The sheriff called in the cavalry to poke and prod at the frisky feline, finally freeing it from the front bumper in one very swift move. The bobcat, unharmed, was returned to the wild. We wrap up with a happy and hefty tale. Resembling a fluffy white whale, Patches clocked in at a whopping 40 pounds, more than twice the size of your average large kitty. Richmond, Virginia Animal Control posted his portly picture online, and instantly the calls started coming in. Now, he's being adopted.
We did his blood work. Surprisingly, no thyroid issues, diabetes, nothing like that. His blood work looks excellent. So he is, really set up to start on that weight loss journey right away.
Best of luck, Patches. We're rooting for you. For Take a Look at This, I'm Patrick Cornell.
A rare hybrid solar eclipse appeared over Western Australia. One of the few places in the world that was able to see the cosmic event, visitors from all across the country and world poured into the town of Exmouth to get a glimpse of this rare solar event when the sun, the earth, and the moon align to make an awe-inspiring effect, on Wednesdays. Scientists, eclipse hunters, and enthusiasts could be seen gearing up for the event at the viewing site in the town.
Coming up after the break, Evan Gustafson will have your full forecast.
And we'll have a look at this past week's national sports. Stick with us.
So those showers that we've been experiencing these past couple days will continue to persist throughout the day today. As we look at our live cam, it is definitely cloudy out and a chance of some stray showers and even some snow mixing in. However, our weather headlines this Sunday afternoon, we're going to be staying gloomy today and into tonight and Monday morning. We'll see those freeze warnings start to come into effect. And looking ahead into next week, we'll see those rain chances continue to persist. Current temperatures, we're sitting at 40 degrees in Valpo, 39 degrees in Michigan City, and low 40s over in the Chicagoland area. But as we look across the nation, we'll see unseasonably cool temperatures across the area, with all the way down in Houston with 57 degrees, 47 in Bismarck, 40 in Minneapolis, and 46 in Columbus. Future temperatures, we'll see those temperatures really start to get knocked down as we go into the early morning hours of Monday at the mid-30s. But as we go through Monday afternoon and then eventually into Monday evening, we'll see those temperatures really start to get down into those freezing temperatures, prompting us some freeze warnings. And speaking of those freeze warnings, we'll have those freeze warnings all the way from Nebraska into our area in Indiana and even into western Ohio. This is a chance of seeing some lower to upper 20, or some lower 30s into upper 20s, chance of seeing some very cold temperatures, which, albeit because of these warm temperatures, a lot of plants are into bloom. So definitely cover them up as we go into tonight. Current radar, though, we'll see those showers definitely start to overspread our area, and even just north of here, some snow starting to mix in, which will continue to persist throughout the day today. Future radar, we'll see those showers continuing to move over our area, but we will see hopefully a clearing by Monday morning. However, we'll do see our next weather system moving in by the end of Monday and into early Tuesday morning. And looking at tonight, we'll stay just below freezing with 31 degrees and that rain and snow mix moving over the area. Looking ahead at tomorrow, we'll be clearing out and staying dry at 52 degrees. And as we're looking at our 7-day forecast, we'll see 45 tomorrow, 52 on Tuesday, and that next weather maker coming on Wednesday. But those temperatures will start to meander toward those more average season highs at 59 and 63 degrees. But we'll see us back on the rainy side as we go into next weekend. Back to you guys.
Well, I'm really not looking forward to any snow if we get any. I've really been enjoying those flowers out there.
Yeah, leave it to Indiana to give us 80 degrees one day and then snow the next.
Well, thanks, Evan. After this break, we'll have a recap of this past week's sports.
Spring cleaning is fully underway as newly hired men's basketball coach Roger Powell Jr. cleaned house on parts of the coaching staff. Powell Jr. and Valpo Athletics have chosen Pat Baldwin and Matt Gordon to be the assistant coaches, alongside Kylan Butler as the special assistant to the head coach. Baldwin was the head coach for Milwaukee for 5 years before going down to Georgetown last season as an assistant coach to NBA legend Patrick Ewing. He also helped turn Northwestern's program around under Chris Collins, which resulted in an NCAA tournament appearance. Matt Gordon, a former Sooner and Rambler, joins Powell Jr. after spending much of his career as an assistant coach to Porter Moser, the former Loyola and current Oklahoma head coach. Gordon is used to being on winning teams, especially since he was a part of the historic 2017-2018 Rambler run to the Final Four. Kylan Butler formerly worked for another all-time Valpo great in Bryce Drew. Drew is currently the head coach at Grand Canyon University for the past 2 seasons, but joined Powell Jr.'s new staff at Valpo because of the mentorship he has provided for Butler the past several years. Baldwin, Gordon, and Butler are 3 of many expected new hires as Powell Jr. and Athletic Director Charles Small continue to evaluate the current status of the men's basketball program at the university.
Out on the diamond, the men's baseball team has extended their lead to 5 wins after a defeat of the UIC Flames on Saturday. Despite the Flames jumping to an early 2-run lead in the first, the Beacons fought back with a tying 2-run hit at the bottom of the second by Matt Olive. Both teams went back and forth until finally in the bottom of the 8th inning, Valpo took the lead for good. There was a little 9th inning drama though. UIC started off with a lead-off double. After a sacrifice bunt, the runner advanced to third base, but that would be as far as he got. Beacons won the game 5-4 after the sacrifice fly by Brady Nowicki in the bottom of the 8th.
Good weekend for Valpo sports-wise, but the Cubs went and just had to do what they did against the Dodgers last night.
Yeah, but I mean on Friday, we got those free Chick-fil-A sandwiches.
This is true.
Can't complain about that.
Can't complain about that, no.
Chicagoland area on Friday. Yeah, we got free Chick-fil-A sandwiches since the Cubs won at home, so.
Yep, and then the Dodgers won 9-4 to crush all of our little hearts. Anyway, after the break, we will have a final look at the weather.
At our final forecast for this Sunday afternoon, we'll see, unfortunately, those temperatures sticking around just a little bit longer. And unfortunately, by the time we get to the midweek, it's going to be nice and warm again, but it won't be the weekend. However, I am really looking forward to the end of the week and next weekend as we'll be back in the upper 50s and lower 60s.
Thanks, Evan. And I have a question for you guys. This one came in from a viewer. What's your favorite summer activity?
I don't know what.
My favorite summer activity is I love like water sports like boating and fishing and like jet skiing. It just brings me so much joy and happiness and doing it with the people I love.
Spike ball and volleyball are my go-tos.
I just like playing some good old cornhole in the backyard.
It's bags. If you have a question for us, send it our way on Facebook or Twitter, and we might answer it. You can send screenshots of forums, questions you've been asked, or questions that you have yourself. From all of us at VUTV, thank you for joining us this week. We'll see you next week on 15 at noon.